Hey guys, welcome to the Ethan Lemler podcast show. I'm your host, Ethan, and I'm here today with George and Ryan. What's up, guys? What are you doing today? All right. Obviously, haven't been here in a while. This is our first podcast in 5, 6 months, but we're happy to be back. We were hostages in a Bulgarian by the Bulgarian mob, so we have good reasons to not be here. No, we've just been school and stuff, but now we're back and we're hopefully going to get a lot of podcasts in the next couple weeks and forward. Today we're going to talk about the football season, which has started already. Very, very weird light, some cancellations, some stuff. Ryan, overall, what have you gotten from this football season? This very weird football season.
I mean, for what situation we're in, even though there's been a lot of cancellations, I think it's went pretty well. There's been some really exciting games,
Mm-hmm.
and especially the Steelers being undefeated is a big thing that um, it just expresses how crazy the situation that we're in right now is.
That's a good segue for what I want to talk about. The Steelers, 11-0, beating some teams, good, bad, it's debatable. It's a topic. This week, barely beat a practice squad Ravens. Obviously, I'm a Ravens fan. I'm a little bit of a bias. I'm just going to say I don't think the Steelers are that good. People say it. People go, they're overrated. I actually think they're overrated. I think they're one of the worst undefeated teams this late in the season ever, probably. They barely beat the Cowboys, the hurt Cowboys, the hurt Ravens, some other lackluster teams. And I think this team will get bounced from the playoffs earlier than an 11-0 team should be.
They just lost Bud Dupree too.
And they lost Bud Dupree. That's a huge hurt on the line. Opposite, I don't know who the opposite TJ Watt is, but now TJ Watt will definitely be triple, double, and triple teamed as he was named the defensive player of the week of the month, and will probably be the defensive player of the year. What are we kidding? He's a beast. That's a huge hurt for the line, especially since they didn't have Tuitt. They will probably have him on Monday, though.
I don't think they're super overrated, maybe a little, but they still haven't lost a game.
You're
and
right.
That's something special in the NFL.
Yeah, you're right about that. But I just feel like, and
I agree with what you're saying.
a team that's 11-0 should have some blowouts. They shouldn't be hanging on by the skin of their teeth every time they play a non-playoff team. George, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I'm kind of comparing it to last year's Packers. They were both like.
I don't know. I think the Steelers are a
Everyone
little.
else said they were overrated. The Packers went 13-3 last year. They didn't really have any major blowouts either. Every game was by one score, a field goal. Everything was really, really close.
Right.
And as we all know, they made it to the NFC Championship game and they got blown out. I actually see the same thing happening to the Steelers in this case.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're going to be good enough to beat a good team come playoff time. There are obviously holes in this roster. Ben Roethlisberger is not what he used to be.
I disagree. I think that's it. You can finish.
Out of all of the contending teams, everyone is overrating Ben, but he's the worst quarterback out of the group of like Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson even, which is why I don't think he's just enough to get over that hump in the playoffs.
Yeah, I do like that comparison to the Packers because obviously they were 13-3 and everybody was calling them overrated. And then they went against a strong 49ers team and they were overrated and they got crushed. And I think that will either happen this year against the Chiefs, who I think it's a fair bet unless something astronomical happens. They'll probably be the Super Bowl or at least the leading Super Bowl contender right now for the AFC side. And I just think we'll see because they play the Bills in 2 weeks. And I think that's a strong showing because the Bills are 8-3, maybe a little overrated with their schedule. They probably are more of a 7-4 team at this point. But we'll have to see how they combat Josh Allen and his hybrid movement and how they can combat the Buffalo defense, which has been pretty stellar this year so far.
I really like the Bills, honestly.
Right. Yeah, I do too. They're a dominant team. They've got a lot of good pieces. But for the Steelers, I just think they have a lot of good pieces, but I don't know if they have enough to be they don't look like a Super Bowl team right now.
Can we talk about the Browns though? Same division, 8-3.
Oh. I'm
8-3.
that team's that all of those they're all going against bad teams in the
It
NFC.
doesn't matter. They're 8-3. Baker
Right.
Mayfield has led a Browns team to be 8-3.
I think it's more like the Browns defense has led the Browns to be 8-3. They won 10-3 over the Texans. Yeah. That's not
They're still like beating one playoff team only, right? Isn't that the stat?
And they got blown out by the Ravens early. Is that a Browns week 1? No. They're going to make the playoffs. Will they make a splash? We've never seen Baker in the postseason. We'll have to see what he does. I don't expect anything from him, to be honest.
The Browns are more overrated than the Steelers.
They're rolling him out of the pocket where he is best. If you insert like Carson Wentz in that same system, he's going to be doing a lot better.
Well, that's a different topic.
Don't talk about Carson.
I think this is a lot on Kevin Stefanski. He's been doing great right now. Pretty sure I got his name right. Right?
Yeah.
So far, he's shown that he's the best. He's been the best. He's been the best hiring of the year, and I think he's in line for Coach of the Year, taking the 7-9 Browns of Freddie Kitchens with all that talent and making them actually into a playoff team. Now, you mentioned Carson Wentz, and that I want to bring up. Well, I will, but somebody on the show, Noah, who's been on it a couple of times, he's not able to make it today, but he'll start being a regular on the podcast. He actually has his own spinoff, Eagles, ELPS Eagles. You can find it on Spotify under Ethan Lemler Podcast Show. And we'll try to have a link tree down below where you can find us at. Same thing on Instagram, Ethan Lemler Podcast Show. And if you're watching this on YouTube, or if you're listening to Spotify, find us on Ethan Lemler Podcast Show. Hit that subscribe button if you like it, and follow for more. We'll try to get a lot of content out recently. So let's bring up this NFC East team. My God.
NFC East is just a dumpster fire now.
It's just a lot of bad. That's a lot of bad. And honestly, the only thing good from this, as you can see in Ryan's background, Daniel Jones. I think he's a sleeper, especially if they make it into the postseason. I think he is talent. And I think
he's better than this guy was last year.
That's Eli. Is that Eli or Daniel Jones?
It's Eli.
Person.
They look the same.
They do look really similar.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
It is. It really is. But I think the Giants are going to pull it out because everybody else is really bad. Carson Wentz, Eagles had it. They were in the lead. They were going against the Cowboys. Not the Cowboys. They were going against the football team and then the Giants. And Carson Wentz couldn't lead them to it. They had a chance against the Seahawks. Carson Wentz couldn't finish it. Eagles aren't going to make it. They're not that type of team. So I think it's going to be between what everybody thought beforehand. Football team, Giants. Everybody predicted this.
Hey, and it's clear the Giants are better.
It's clear. Yeah. Football team actually hasn't been bad because their defense has been pretty good.
But the Giants beat them twice.
That's true.
Antonio Gibson, though, he's been going off recently. I have him on my fantasy team. 6 touchdowns in like 4 games. It's insane. I love that.
You beat out somebody. You barely won, right? Your last week? Yeah.
Ron Rivera, though, he's the most experienced coach in that division. Alex Smith, another experienced veteran QB.
Has Mike McCarthy been in the league longer? I think Mike McCarthy's been in the league longer than.
I know, but Mike McCarthy's been trash.
Yeah, but you said experienced. McCarthy's have won a Super Bowl. I mean, that's fairly experienced rather than.
He's too old school of a head coach. We're evolving into a new era.
I don't like the term old school. I prefer the term trash. What this shows is that Aaron Rodgers was right. Everybody's like, oh, why you gotta – he was talking about Mike McCarthy when they got fired. He was like, oh, he was garbage, He couldn't lead anything. And everybody's like, no, he won a Super Bowl. He led his team to the playoffs multiple times. He comes to the Cowboys. Garbage. Absolutely terrible coach. Maybe the worst coach in the league right now. what does that show? Rodgers won a Super Bowl with this coach. I think that just cements Aaron Rodgers' greatness and eliteness in the league right now.
Yeah, look what the Packers are doing. 8-3.
They're
They're
also
gonna run the table, winning the Super Bowl right now, calling it.
I don't think so.
They could make it to the Super Bowl. That NFC is way open. There aren't any good teams. I was thinking Seahawks, but Russ has been not that great last couple of weeks. Their team is
The
obviously
Seahawks
terrible.
O-line cannot hold up anything at all, and Russ just under pressure, not being able to do what he does. He's been single-handedly carrying that team right now, and with the little help he had around him, it's starting to collapse, and he's starting to collapse under that weight.
Yeah, the NFC Saints really are the go-to team right now, but that's an open team that we could see somebody rising up and really getting through the ranks and probably playing the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Whether they win, no, but they're going to be there.
Yeah, there's not a clearly dominant team in the NFC. There's a lot of bad teams, though. Like a lot of really bad teams.
There's a lot of really bad teams, and there's a lot of mediocre good teams, like the Rams, who, if you haven't looked, are 7-4. Did anybody think that? No. Cardinals are 6-5. I think they're better than their record says. There's some other teams like that. I can't think of any right now, but they're there.
It shows how bad the NFC is with a division leader at 4-7.
And then you go to the AFC, you got the Steelers, the Chiefs, the Browns, the Raiders, the Titans, the Colts. I could go on. Dolphins. And then the Ravens, who I don't want to talk about that right now, but they're good. But all right, let's talk about the Ravens. We're gonna go back to that. They are an interesting case. They had the worst outbreak so far. They had Wednesday night football and Wednesday afternoon football.
My favorite.
Tree. It was an interesting game. I'm not gonna lie. They had a chance. There were some factors that went into refs, but I was proud how they played. They showed that they could hang up, especially the defense. The defense played really well against the Steelers offense, who was shown to be pretty good recently. But throughout the year, they've just made a lot of mistakes. Lamar's had more interceptions than he usually does, more fumbles. Defense has let up in crucial situations. The offense hasn't been got going in the last couple of weeks. And who's that on? Is that on Lamar? I don't think so. Running backs, wide receivers a little bit, but that's on Greg Roman, the offensive coordinator. He hasn't been feeding to his team's need. He hasn't gotten creative like he did last year, and the defenses have evolutionized his game, his defense, and the offense. And Greg Roman hasn't found a way past that.
I don't know. I think they figured out Lamar Jackson in a little bit over the season. Remember all the slander you gave me for putting him behind quarterbacks like Rodgers and Mahomes? Well,
I never slandered you for putting him behind Mahomes. Rodgers, I was wrong about. Rodgers is a very good quarterback, and
Rodgers just had breakout season.
But
no
when
one
I said
expected that from Rodgers.
Right, but when I said that, Lamar had one of the best seasons in the last couple of years, and he was the MVP, to be fair.
Lamar isn't playing like a top 10 quarterback right now. He's just not. He's not using his feet, which was his strength.
Just defenses have limited it because they've figured out how to defend it.
Yeah, they have. But what has Lamar lost? He lost his All-Pro guard, Marshall Yanda, one of the best ever at guard position. He lost early in the season, Stanley, for the season, left tackle. They moved Orlando Brown over there. He's been good. He hasn't been great. Then center, Skura, terrible. He's had awful snaps that lost them the Patriots game. They lost their top blocking tight end in Nick Boyle. Now they have some practice teamers to go in. They have no wide receivers. Who's their number one? Snead. He's okay.
Marquise
Brown's terrible. He's not able to get open.
Exactly. Marquise Brown is trash. Remember when you said that last year and you went on this
I said give him another year. He was hurt. And it just shows that he's just not He hasn't been producing. I don't think this is
Brown is not a number one. The Ravens are not a number one team right now. They don't have enough.
They aren't, but I think
to do anything.
went.
They're shutting down the run game. They're stacking the box. Lamar isn't making the throws, and his receivers aren't getting open.
I think they have though. If they win the games they're supposed to, they'll go 10-6, and I think the Ravens have enough talent to make a splash in the playoffs. Will they get to the Super Bowl? No, but could they upset one or two teams there? I think it's a real possibility.
We've all seen what's happened to the.
Yes.
Sure. I don't think that happened. The playoffs just. I don't know. I just lost my memory of it for some reason.
Ryan Tannehill is my dad. Ethan. 1 week before the Titans-Ravens game.
I don't want to talk about it. I think I should probably pray to Derrick Henry every night just to ask for mercy to the God, Derrick Henry. I think Colts fans should start doing that too. I don't know. I think the entire NFL should start doing that because he's a force to be reckoned with right now. So if you guys don't have anything else to say, I think that's going to do us for today. We're trying to cut them a little shorter, trying to keep them just a little bit more exciting. We're going to try to do daily, so look for one tomorrow as well. We're going to try to do our picks for tomorrow and best games for Sunday this week. I'm Ethan, the Ethan Lemler Podcast Show. Check us out on all our socials. Thank you guys. See you guys next time.